Alright, so 2018 Street Triple RS. This is a great bike. I know that sounds cliche, but this is a noticeable improvement. I would say significant improvement over the previous generation Street Triple. The MSRP on this bike is $12,500 for the RS trim level. I think it's $11,400 for the R and just under $10,000 for the S. What do you get with the RS? Well, you obviously get everything that the other bikes have and more. With the RS, you get a quick shifter, Brembo brakes in the front, the M50s. You get an Öhlins fully adjustable rear suspension in the rear. Oh, stop sign caught me by surprise. Quick shifter. Yeah. Look at that. Not bad. Really nice. So this is the first bike I've owned that's had a quick shifter. And it took me a few miles to get used to the quick shifter and how it works, but once I got the hang of it, it's pretty easy. Just keep the throttle open and shift up the gears, and that's it. It does not have a quick shifter for downshift. You still have to shift with the clutch, but I believe it does have a slipper clutch because I haven't had any problems with downshifting at higher RPMs. It doesn't sound so bad stock. They did something to the intake that has a nice growl to it. But as soon as there's one available, I'm going to get an aftermarket slip-on. So, once again, RS, Brembo M50 front brakes, Brembo's in the rear, Öhlins rear adjustable suspension. It's got show-off 41mm front forks that are also fully adjustable. Bar end mirrors, fly screen. Quick shifter, it has a belly pan, and it also has a color match rear seat cowl. Now you can get all those, I believe, except for maybe the Brembos in the front. I could be wrong, but everything else you can purchase and add on to your R or S model, but it's going to cost you a lot more than just getting it from the RS. Plus the RS has different gearing than the R model does. It has a little bit more horsepower than the R. This is the one with the most horsepower. It has the same amount of torque as the R, but the range in which it comes on is different. This has more mid to high RPM range in terms of the torque, whereas the R is more low to mid range. Having just come off a 2015 Street Triple R, I can't say that I can tell the difference in terms of when the torque comes on. I'm going to guess it has to do with the fact that this has 100 cc's more of a displacement, so that makes up for it. I got to tell you, this bike is not slow. By no means is it a slouch. It does just great getting up and going on the highway without shifting down to get the torque. It's great for the street. The suspension is pretty compliant. I'm about 5'10". and I weigh about 190 pounds, and I think the suspension from the factory for this bike is perfect for me. The brakes are awesome. Really good feel. No problem doing 2 fingers on the front brake to stop. Another cool feature of this bike, other than the nice, beautiful display, is actually you can tilt it. All you do is grab this here and move it up or down to your liking. It doesn't move on you when you're riding, so that's good. The speed is, the RPMs and the speed indicators are really big. You can quickly look over and see how fast you're going, what your RPMs are. Really bright. I've been riding all day in all types of lighting conditions, and I have not had any problems being able to read it, which is a big deal, especially for riding during the day out here in Arizona. A lot of sun here. So my take on this bike is, if you have a first generation or even a second generation Street Triple, I don't think you will be disappointed with this machine. It's got great usable power for the street and for high-speed highway rides. It's comfortable. It's fully loaded from the factory, so you pretty much don't have to do much. The only thing that I am planning on doing to this bike is getting a slip-on. That's it. It's got the bar-in mirrors, great display, fly screen. It's got everything else I need. This bike is ready to go right out of the box. It is really stable at speed. I had this on the highway earlier today, going at a pretty good clip, and the bike was solid. There was no wobble in the steering, no drifting. The mirrors were nice and steady. I can actually see out of them. Which, you know, the mirror piece, some people might say, well, big deal. Well, you want to be able to see out of them. Otherwise, what the heck's the point? And this bike is pretty smooth, so you can actually use them. They did something to the seat too. They reshaped it a bit because this feels a little bit lower when my feet are planted on the ground than my 2015 did. 2015 seemed a little bit taller, but I don't think it is. I think it's just the way they shaped the seat of this bike that allows your legs to come down at a straighter angle than the previous generation. And also because this is a single seat, or it's two-piece seat, front and rear, the shape of the seat pan is also better. It doesn't have this curve up the top that pinch your tailbone, and after 30 minutes your butt will start to go numb. This actually doesn't have that. My main purpose for this bike is obviously to have fun, but also to commute to work, so I find those little things to be important to me. And if you use your bike to commute, then I think you would find those important as well. Is seat comfort, usability, the ergonomics. This bike is very practical, but man, is it fun. It's still new, so I'm trying to take it easy. I don't even have 100 miles on it, so I'm varying my speeds and all that, but I'm not trying to go crazy on it. Let me know in the comments in the description what else you want to know about it. I don't usually do reviews, so I'm not too much of an expert on what it is that I should cover. I kind of just covered the things that are important to me, but I'm sure that others might be interested in knowing more about this bike besides what I care about. I can give a quick recap. Overall, I think that Triumph did a great job in this generation revising it. They added a lot of great features to it. I believe it's great value for the money. If I had to do it all over again, I still get the RS, just because for me, I like accessorizing my bikes, and this has everything from the factory at a great price point. I know when I got my Street Triple R, my second generation, I got it before they released the Street Triple RX, which has some added accessories than the Street Triple R, and I kind of felt like I missed out. But with this bike, I just went for the top tier right off the bat, and I will do it again. I am not at all disappointed. This flat screen looks like it's smaller than the previous generation, but it seems to be just as effective. Maybe it's these little waves here, I'm not sure, but I don't feel a whole lot of wind on my chest. I feel it on my forearms a little bit. It seems to really deflect wind well, which is great. That thing looks like a minion. I think this is the one that Triumph is going to sell the most of. The dealer I bought it from had 4 of these, and that's all they had. They had no Rs or no RSs. They had 2 of these in the silver and then 2 in the black. As far as I know, I think I'm the first person in Arizona to own one of these. They weren't expecting them at the dealer until August, and they ended up getting them in April. So bonus for me, I don't have to wait so long. I know in Europe these came out already, but here in the United States they're just now coming out. So if you got a first generation Street Triple or a second generation, and this new third generation is tempting you, a word of caution: do not ride it, because if you do, you're going to want it. If you want it already, just on looks alone, when you ride it, I think you will buy it. All right. Let me know in the comments what else you want to know. Peace.